Coming up on Esoteric Atlanta.
But as the hour went on, the conversation turned to murmurs. Forks scratched the table. Someone whispered, "We give thanks for the flesh." Then came chewing, wet, slow chewing. A woman laughing too loud. A sound like bones cracking. By the time the station cut to static, dozens of callers had phoned police, but there was no record of any such station ever existing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. I am joined today with one of my besties and my business partner. I was about to say partner, but I realized, Paula, they'd probably start rumors if I just said partner.
We better just make sure we just underline the business part.
We're both straight ladies. We both like men.
We are.
So we are really, she's one of my besties, and we also have a business together, Fusion Buddy Studio. And so I am so excited today. This is kind of a last minute episode. We were going to film something else, but that kind of fell through. And so at the last minute, we decided to do an urban legend Thanksgiving episode. And before we get into it, Paula, I have a question. You guys don't have Thanksgiving in Australia, do you?
Not really. No, we don't. It's not something that we celebrate over here. It's definitely a very American thing, but we all know about it because it's
It's a big holiday. It's a big holiday here in the United States. It's like Christmas, like that's that big. It's like a Christmas, but it's no gifts. You just share food with each other, and it does kind of kick off the Christmas season. It's the last Thursday of November, and there's always, like, growing up, my favorite part of Thanksgiving was the Macy's Day Parade. And I know sometimes they air the Macy's Day Parade in other countries as well. Macy's is a huge department store here in the United States. The Macy's Day, if you've ever seen the movie Miracle on 34th Street, is that it kicks off with the Macy's Day Parade. And it's televised. It's unlike any other parade you're ever going to see. It's they put a lot of money into it. They have Broadway. Usually they'll stop by the Star in front of Macy's, and scenes from different Broadway plays will come out, and they'll do a number. The Rockettes, the kick line, one of our students was actually a Rockette. She's probably been in the Macy's Day Parade before. They'll have, different high school bands can audition to be in the Macy's Day Parade, and they get flown to New York. And so it's a really big deal. And I used to love watching it when I was a kid. It takes like 3 hours. So usually it starts around 9 a.m. East Coast. It's in New York, so East Coast. And usually when your mom starts cooking, you're sitting with your siblings watching the Macy's Day Parade. And it always ends with Santa at the very end. Santa is the caboose of the parade, him on his sleigh coming in. And so it's that's a huge American thing to do, is to watch the Macy's Day Parade. And here in the United States, again, Thanksgiving is a time. There's a whole origin story with the Pilgrims breaking bread with the natives when the natives taught them how to harvest the land here. That's kind of the origin story. But we use it as a time to just be grateful and thankful for the bountiful lands that we have here in the United States. Be grateful for our country. We talk a lot about, in certain families, the history, the American history, and what our pioneering ancestors went through in order to establish this nation for us. And so we give gratitude to our ancestors for their hard work to give us freedom here in this United. So it's kind of like a holiday 4th of July. Like, it's not like the 4th of July where we're absolutely celebrating the Declaration of Independence, but it's just a time of reflection and gratitude. And I'm grateful for you, Paula. I'm grateful for our audience. I'm grateful for Fusion Buddy Studio. And it's a time to just really be reflective of what we have as Americans, and then the blessings that we have as Americans. And so it's my favorite holiday. When I was a kid, I I like the parade, but I never liked the food because it was casseroles. It was all casseroles. But as an adult,
Right.
I love the
Mhm.
casseroles now. And it's a feast. We have a big feast. Usually, you just have one really big meal that day with your friends and family. A lot of alcohol consumption, and so Paula, before we get into it, what I've been doing on my channel, I would like every year, every holiday year since I started Esoteric Atlanta, I've talked about pineapple casserole because that's my
I
favorite
remember
holiday.
hearing about this, and I was like, "What is pineapple?" I remember actually one year that I was listening to your YouTube channel. I actually like Googled it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really quite interesting."
We only eat it at special occasions. Like it's not, a casserole that you're gonna eat like on a random Tuesday. It's only in
Yeah,
special occasions. And so a lot of the food that we eat at Thanksgiving, it's kind of the same thing we eat at Christmas too.
yeah,
But
it's like a treat kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's not something that you're gonna eat. It takes, and so what I wanted to do, especially here in the United States, so the United States, all four corners of the United States, the South is the area where I'm from that's really known for its food. Like we are really known for our food. Even though I'm not much of a foodie, food in the South is considered soul food.
Hmm.
And so what I thought I would do is I'm going to share a recipe. And what we are also doing, Paula, what I'm doing is food is a way for us to have community with people, right? Like it's a way to show love and service is to cook something for somebody. And so what I want to do with everybody watching right now, I've said this before. I know that Americans are the only ones we got Thanksgiving, but you guys are coming up to Christmas, right?
Hmm.
So as we are as well.
Well, in Australia, we actually have Australia Day, and we have that every year. We kind of celebrate Australia, and that
Yeah,
we get to live in this amazing country,
yeah.
and so it's in January. I believe it's the 26th of January every year, and we get to celebrate that. We have fireworks, and people usually have barbecues, or they go down to the foreshore. Like, 'cause in Perth, we've got our beautiful Swan River, so a lot of people go down there and watch the fireworks in the Swan River, and yeah, it's great. So that I guess that would kind of be equivalent to our kind of
Yeah, it's you
Thanksgiving.
just
Yeah.
it's everything's closed. There's nothing's open. It's all very national holiday. Well, what I want to do, Paula, and I have already gotten some recipes sent to me. I want to, since we have such an eclectic group of people from all over the world, if you
Mhm.
guys want, I would love for you to send me a recipe from your family or your area of the world. You can leave an antidote about the story of the food or not, up to you, but put where it's from. And I want to put together like an Esoteric Atlanta community cookbook of
Mhm.
recipes from all over the world. And I'm going to put it as a PDF and I'll put it up on Substack or something for people to print out so that you can experiment with other recipes from other areas of the world over the holiday
I
season.
love that.
And
I
so
think that is such a cool idea.
And it's going to be free. It's just us sharing recipes with each other from sharing I believe cultures are meant to be shared. And so it's a way
Mhm.
for us to share our culture with each other. And I don't know about you, Paula, but a lot of times people like, especially in the holiday season, like Christmas, people will make food to like bring to their friends and family. Like
Yeah.
you maybe give gifts, like material gifts to like your close family and friends, but you'll go and like, make cheese straws
Yeah.
or something to bring to your friends, your
Like catch up.
yeah,
Mhm.
like just to kind of share the love. And so if you guys want to do that, send that to esotericatlanta@gmail.com, my channel name at gmail.com. Put recipe in the subject line so I see it. I've already gotten some awesome recipes from Hungary. I'm
Oh,
so
that's
excited.
cool.
And I'm going to take all the recipes, I'm going to organize them in like hors d'oeuvre, entree, dessert, whatever, and we'll put it up on a PDF totally free. And then once it's ready to go, I'll put it up on my Substack and you can just print it off and you can have a recipe book where we get to share with each other some of our culture with each other. And that's done in love and of service to other people. And so please do that, guys. Also, before I share this quick recipe, before we get into the urban legends of Thanksgiving, we have a new playlist that we're going to be starting over on Fusion Body Studio with a chef. It's going to be a lifestyle playlist. Super excited about that. And she's
Mhm.
actually going to do her first live class with us on the 23rd over on Fusion Body
Yes.
Studio. Yeah. So that's a new thing that's coming to Fusion Body. Also, starting in January, you guys, drum roll please. Todd had so much fun doing a chanting class with everybody that not only are you going to get an exercise class a month, a like educational lecture class a month, but you're also going to get a chanting class with Todd once a month going forward in January.
Which is absolutely amazing because all of us that joined the chanting class, it was amazing. It was so, I mean, it was tricky. There was a few tricky moments where I was just like, oh my God, but just the vibration, the way that it makes you feel when you're saying, when you're chanting the words, and yeah, it was amazing. Everybody that joined it absolutely loved it. It was great. So we're so excited that Todd's going to do that.
He had so much fun, and I apologize. My dog always decides to clean his boy bits when I start filming. So if you guys hear weird noises, that's Robbie just being a boy. So
Dogs do that. They just do that.
it's just what he does. I was like, oh my God, it's so loud. But yeah, Todd loved it. And chanting, when I first started practicing yoga, chanting was not my favorite part of the practice, but now it is one of my favorite. I've learned the value of the chanting, and so we already have some recorded chanting. We have a manual up from AYA's manual, and so Todd is going to continue that into the new year once a month with people to really help them. We also are going to be doing the Ashtanga Yoga beginner course as well, because now we have 2 new videos up, Paula, that were shot in AYA. And so we are now changed our location to AYA. They're so much cleaner and clearer now that they're AYA. And so we're going to be bringing that in the new year as well. So a lot going on. And we also have Black Friday coming up the day after Thanksgiving. And usually we have massive sales. And so Paula and I are going to come up with a 3-day Black Friday like sale for people who want to purchase Fusion Body membership for a family member for Christmas or anything like that. So stay tuned, guys, because we're going to be dropping that soon for people. And is there anything else you want to add about this, Paula, about Fusion Body before we get into the recipe and the story?
Mean, we've just, got heaps of exciting news. All of that is just, it's awesome. And I'm currently working on a course at the moment. It's still going to be a little way off because it's quite a big course that I'm creating, but it's basically it's based on the book called Angel Abundance by Belinda Womack. And it's all about really it's not just about changing your thinking about money and abundance, but actually really healing your soul and having the 12 archangels assist you in that healing process. And it's a really, really powerful, like if anybody's read the book, it's an amazing book. I love it. But I wanted to create a course and just have some really basic step-by-step things that people can do and to follow through to really kind of reprogram and heal their minds. So that will be available, but that's probably still a few months away before I get that completed. But we just keep coming up with more and more content, don't we?
I know. We've always laughed that content's not our problem. We've had to figure the technical side of it, like filming and like exercise video, but content's not the problem. And so you guys, if you're not a part of Fusion Body Studio and you want to join us right now.
Well, actually, I was just going to say one thing that we always need help with is marketing. So if anybody is out there that is great at marketing, we do have an affiliate program that you can join up with. And all you have to do is we've got information on the website under the become an affiliate link, and just basically get in contact with us and we'll set you up as an affiliate and you can help promote us, which would be amazing.
Which this is it, Paula and me. This is Fusion Body.
Yeah.
No, there's no corporation behind us. It's us. We're the ones making all the decisions. So I don't know who left us in charge, but here we are.
Yeah.
I
blame the dogs.
Yeah, it's the dog. Yeah. So I was just telling you, Paul, before we started filming, that I never want us to be like a corporation. We're a small business. And so that we become like a family. We really care about our students. We get to know our students. That's the important part of a shala. It's not just some gym that's pumping people out. We really are invested in our students and doing the best we can to help them and serve them.
We love our students.
We love our students so much. We have some incredible, we're going to be interviewing our students more and more and more on Fusion Body Studio's YouTube channel. So if you're not part of our YouTube channel, all that will be in the description box below so you can hear their stories. And if you just want to join us today, you decide I want to join, you can use, I guess, my name, Brice20. You can get 20% off your first 6 months. If you're not interested in the spiritual stuff, that's fine. Tier
Yeah,
one is
just
just
do
the
the
exercise.
exercise
So
only.
you can just have the fitness boutique in your home by only
Mhm.
$25 a month, which is so cheap. If you want the spiritual stuff too, like the courses, that's $40 a month, which is still incredibly cheap compared to like the thousands and thousands of dollars Paul and I've paid for our education. But you can do that and get 20% off the first 6 months. You also get 7 days free in the beginning to try it. So if you decide, if you've been worried about the money, but you really want to do it, you have 7 days free to try it before your card is charged to make sure it's something that it's like taking a test run with a car, right? Like test driving a car.
Yeah,
You can try it out, see if it's something that you really want. And if it's not for you, it's no
yeah, just
worries.
cancel.
It's no worries. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, we've got so much coming up with that, with a lifestyle course that's coming with food, how to cook, how to do all that stuff. And we've also got Todd's chanting classes that are going to start once a month in January. The Ashtanga beginner course is going to start in the new year. And obviously, we still continue to do 2 to 4 new exercises a month with an ever-growing library of exercises for you guys. So, but before we get into that, guys, before we get into our story at hand, I am going to share one recipe because this tis the season, right? And so if you are somebody who needs a fun recipe wherever you are in the world, and you want a fun recipe, I hate all these advertisements that come up.
Oh, I
Nonetheless,
know.
this might be fun because if you're not from the South, this might be something fun to
Apple
try.
and cheese. Oh
Apple and
my
cheese
goodness.
casserole. And this is very Southern, so I get this from Southern Living. Southern Living is a huge magazine down here. It was a magazine when I was a kid. Now it's obviously online, like most are. My great grandmother, one of my great grandmothers, had her house in Southern Living a couple of times when she was alive. But this is an old-fashioned apple and cheese casserole. Now, I, as a Vata, cannot eat raw apples, but I can eat cooked apples. And so this is kind of like you're going to cook the apples kind of like you would in an apple
I
pie.
love cooked apples, and especially with cinnamon. Oh, so
Cinnamon's going to
good.
be on this too. So this is similar to pineapple casserole, but with a tender glazed apples. And don't worry, guys, pineapple casserole. I'm going to give you guys that recipe the week of Thanksgiving because that's my favorite. And so this is great for the holidays. It's
Wow.
also great for if you ever have like company spending the night and you feel like you need a fancy breakfast food, even though this is technically a side. This can be a fancy breakfast food to cook as well. Like so can pineapple casserole for your guests. You have whatever cooking spray or oil you use. They didn't specify, so it's up to you. A half cup apple cider or apple juice, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 6 cups peeled, thinly sliced Honeycrisp apples, 3 to 4 large apples, a third cup packed light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon fresh lemon juice, 1 and 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon divided, an eighth teaspoon kosher salt, a 1/4 cup unsalted butter melted, 1 sleeve of butter, a butter round cracker such as Ritz crackers. So whatever kind of crackers you have in your country, we use Ritz crushed.
Yeah, we have Ritz over here.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking, like the buttery, yeah, really savory crackers, and then 1 cup of shredded or mild cheddar cheese. I think the sharp is actually better. That's my opinion because of the
Okay.
sweetness, it kind of the savory, but that's up to you. Now, for people who don't live in the United States, use different measuring, because you guys do different measuring, right, Paula? You can just
So we do the same with the cups and the teaspoons. That's the same. Where we differ is that we don't do ounces over here. We do like milligrams, mils. We do and kilograms. We don't do ounces or pounds over here.
in
I mean, yeah,
Celsius to Fahrenheit, but that's easy, you guys. So if you are from a country
yeah,
that doesn't use the same measuring system that we use, just put it in your iPhone. You can say like,
yeah. There's so
it'll
many
translate it for you. Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
many
So
calculators that figure it out for you.
don't let that freak you out, guys. If you're from a different country, it's easy to figure that out. So this kind of so step one, you preheat your oven so like 350 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in
So that's
Celsius.
usually probably about 180
So
Celsius.
yeah, you can, yeah. And then coat a 11 by 7 inch baking dish with cooking spray or oil, whatever you use. Again, just translate that to your country. Whisk together cider and cornstarch and set aside. Combine apple, sugar, lemon juice, 1 teaspoon cinnamon and salt into a large skillet over medium heat. Cook, stirring occasionally until apples release liquid and start to soften. 5 to 6 minutes. Stir and cider mix. Cook until thickened and glossy. 2 to 3 minutes. Pour apple mixture into the prepared baking dish. Combined butter and remaining a quarter teaspoon cinnamon into a medium bowl. Add the crushed crackers and toss to combine. Sprinkle cheese over apple mixture. Sprinkle cracker mixture over cheese. Bake casserole uncovered at 350 or 180 Celsius until till filling is bubbly and topping is brown. It's usually about 30 minutes, and you serve it warm. Also, ice cream is good with
Yum.
this too.
I want
So
to try that. That looks
yeah,
delicious.
doesn't it? It looks so good. This is not, again, I'm going to tell you guys, even though this is from Southern Living, this is not something we would have like on a random Tuesday. This is a holiday dish. This is an absolute
Uh-huh.
holiday dish. For Thanksgiving or Christmas, this would be a side dish to the
Hmm.
main entree. But again, you can use it as like a breakfast. I think it would be good with ice cream on the side, because
Yeah.
it's both sweet and savory. And a lot of Southern food is very rich, so you're gonna have a lot of rich flavors. It's very soul food. And so yeah, you guys, this recipe will be down in the description box below, straight to Southern Living, so you can see it for yourself if this is something you want to try for your holiday, or just try in general to see if you like it.
Yeah.
It's something great to bring to a potluck if you ever go to something,
Yes.
you know.
Great
So
idea. And to bring on Christmas Day as well, or
yeah,
Boxing Day.
yeah,
Lots of people do lots of celebrations on Boxing Day or Christmas days. So,
yeah. So there you go. We have so, and again, in the South, we are known for our food in the South. We are known for the Southern, we call it soul food in the South. Very hearty, very rich food, a lot of fried food down here. And that's because our ancestors in the South all worked out in the fields. And so they ate very heartily, um,
yeah,
you
makes
know,
sense.
so that's why
And
so.
that's good for Vatas. Vatas
Mhm.
need the kind of heavy, because I know that if I'm not eating enough kind of heavy kind of foods like the sweet potatoes and pumpkins and kind of all the like the root vegetables, I find are really, really good for me. If I'm not having enough of that, my body just doesn't cope.
Float up, because that's real grounding food,
Yeah,
right? It grounds you.
yeah, we need
It
grounding food.
really-
Yeah, because we're just so airy and
Yeah.
off of the fence all the time.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so and again, like raw apples and raw pineapples are really terrible for Vadas, but cooking
Yeah,
them in these, and both
cooking them.
pineapple
Yeah,
and this casserole, they're cooked. And so it changes
yeah.
their disposition of energy. And so it's usually edible for a Vata once it's cooked. And so it's kind of like a different spin maybe on like apple pie. It's not exactly like apple pie because it's very
Yeah, that's
savory
what I was thinking.
too.
It's like a similar kind of like apple crumble kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and you're
Yeah.
using Ritz crackers, you're using sharp. I think sharp cheddar cheese is better. That's how it is with the pineapple anyway. It's better than mild. But if you don't like sharp, they said you can use mild too. And you've got your butter and your cinnamon and your sugar, and it's just warm. It's just, it's so good. And so, yes, you guys, I hope that, let me know if any of you guys try that. If this is not, Southerners eat this stuff all the time, so I don't need to hear from the Southerners unless the Southerners know of an alternative way of making that you want to add down, because every family does it a little differently. So if you have an
Mhm.
alternative way of doing that casserole, let us know in the
Yeah,
comment
it's
section.
good
Let
to
our friends
know.
know. But if you're not from the South and you try this, I would love to hear your reaction. Speaking of sweet potatoes, Paula, I've got for the week of Thanksgiving, I've already shot some videos for that, and we're going to do our sweet potato casserole, as well
Mhm.
as pineapple casserole is going to be on the same video with chess pie and some other real Southern um, side dishes. So,
Oh, so cool. It's so cool to hear about what you guys do because I remember when I was little, the first time I kind of really remember hearing about Thanksgiving was when I watched The Addams Family. And Wednesday has to go on that camp, and then they're made to do the play and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's kind of my first introduction to Thanksgiving.
yeah, kids. So when we were kids, I don't know if they do this today, and let me know, Americans, because I don't have kids, and I've never asked my sister this. I guess I could ask my sister. When we were like really little, like Scarlett's age, like lower
Mhm.
elementary school, we would do like Thanksgiving productions and pageants where we would use construction paper to like make pilgrim hats and like make
Uh-huh.
the Native American headdress. And the kids would sing songs with their little hats on for their parents. It's a big deal here in the United States. Like
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is a huge deal. Also, this is the time of year, we call it fall. Autumn, we call fall here in the United States. Well, we
Mhm.
use both autumn, but most people say fall. It's because, and I didn't realize this, Paula. I follow, and it's crazy because I've lived all over the world and I've traveled the world, but there's some things you take for granted that you don't realize is not normal in other areas of the world. We call autumn fall because of the leaves. And I've been watching, I follow a lot of these TikTokers who are English, and they spend a lot of time over the United States comparing culture in the United States to English culture, and they're very complimentary of the American culture. But the one thing that's crazy is when they're here in the fall, the videos they post, because they're just jaw is on the floor of how beautiful it is here in the
I
fall.
bet.
Our, especially Appalachian, the East Coast where I'm from, our leaves change colors and then they fall off, right? But when they change colors, they change into a very bright red,
Yeah.
yellow, orange. And let me autumn. I'll actually show you guys some pictures.
I love when I've seen movies and you just see all these beautiful leaves everywhere. It just looks
It
gorgeous.
is gorgeous. I'm going to show you guys, and these are like legit pictures. It's even more pretty in person, and it is just like color just explodes everywhere. I mean, that's how it is
Yeah.
outside in Atlanta too. Like it looks like this. The
So
deep reds
gorgeous.
and oranges of the leaves changing colors. And then when the leaves fall off, they fall off
Yeah.
with their color. And so you have just like, it's almost like God just splattered paint,
Yeah.
beautiful paint all over. And kids, like one of the people I follow, they've been showing videos, and I didn't realize that this wasn't like that. This was just an
Yeah, I
American.
think it's like quite unique for you guys, like to you guys.
And the kids play and leave. So I did that as a kid, and this couple was filming kids today in America doing it. And I was like, I'm glad some cultures haven't died. Your parents will like rake the leaves, or the school will like rake leaves into a pile for the city to come collect the leaves, and kids will jump into the leaves. It's so
Oh,
fun. That's what, usually people don't mind. Like if your neighbors, the neighbors usually don't mind if the kid comes and do it makes a little bit of a mess, but it's kind of this thing we do in America. We play in the leaves when we're kids. We jump in the leaves, and so these are kind of the colors of Thanksgiving, because this is what's happening during the Thanksgiving. I mean, that's
gorgeous.
literally what it looks like. This is not
Wow.
enhanced. This is literally what it looks like, and so yeah, and so you guys. Yeah, I love this time of year. This is one of my favorite times of year because it's just so beautiful. It's crisp air. It's not as humid anymore. And so,
Mhm.
and the food and the family and the harvest is coming in. And so, yeah. All
Well,
right.
this is my favorite time of year because in Australia it's spring,
Mhm.
and spring is my favorite time of the year because it's just coming out of the cold and it's starting to warm up and we all start going to the beach again. So that's what we're planning on doing this weekend. We're going to take little Biscoff to the dog beach and she has an
Aw.
absolute ball, and Scarlett just runs in and out of the water and has so much fun, and it's I love it because it's not too hot, because like you guys in the south, man, it gets so hot over here in Perth. I know different states have it different. Like Queensland's quite very tropical, so it's a different kind of heat over here in Perth. It's a very dry, humid. I hate it when it gets to like, so when it gets to like 40 degrees and above, I'm not sure what that is
That's like
in
us, like we're late nine or the high, like we're usually around 98 Fahrenheit, 100, which is about 40. It's about the same thing.
right.
And
Yeah.
it's
And
it's
it's just
gross. It
yucky.
gets gross.
Yucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
not.
springs is beautiful because it's warm enough to like wear a singlet top like this, but still cool enough to wear a pair of jeans or something, and it's just I love it. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. So
It's I get that when it's super hot. Everyone, we have what we call snowbirds here in the United States, and if you're a snowbird, I'm
yeah.
not making fun of you, but it's and the people from the north come down south for winter because it doesn't get. I mean, that's how the Federal Reserve was created, guys. On Jekyll Island, which is an island off the state of Georgia, there was Yankees, Northerners that came down to stay in the winter to stay on Jekyll Island off of Georgia, so they would not have to deal with winter. And that's how
Yeah.
the Federal Reserve. So, I don't know if I should say sorry or, but yeah, but then it gets in the summertime, they would always go back to the north because the heat down here, no
It's too
matter,
much.
it's so funny. People talk about how brutal the heat is up north, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like you guys haven't felt brutal until you've been in the South in the summer. Like it's brutal. It is not. It doesn't get cool in the evenings. It's still just as hot in the evenings as it is in the daytime because it's humid.
Mm.
So we love this
Wow.
time of year because we get a bit of a break from that really intense heat. So
Well,
shall we?
I'm lucky. I'm near the beach, so being if I've lived more inland as well, and it's like that. There's just no break from the heat. But if you're on the coast, then at least you get the sea breeze in the afternoon, which is just incredible.
We don't
But
get
man,
that
I've
on the
lived,
coast here in the South.
yeah.
We don't get any
Oh
sea
wow.
breeze. It is just
Oh
hot. Like
wow.
Hilton Head Island, where I spend a lot of my time, there is a side of Hilton Head Island that literally, even when I think about it, like I start to lose energy because even at night it's just muggy
Just
and
so hot.
just it's very
Yeah.
swampy. It's very which is near Defusky Island, which is one of those islands like the island in the Caribbean, like Oprah. It's very private. Hilton Head's right by Defusky, so there's some weird stuff going on those islands. But yeah, no, there's not a whole lot of like breaking on the East Coast. Florida, a little bit like in the Gulf, but not the Atlantic side. It is just brutal in the summertime. Brutal. And so you can't help but get in the water because you have to kind of find some relief. So
Or live in the air under the aircon.
yeah, we say in the South that we don't sweat, we glisten.
Yeah.
Just glisten in the South. So, with that being said, Paula, should we get
Yes,
into
let's
it? Should
get
we get
stuck into it.
into
Yes.
the air is cold, the moon hangs low, and the ghost of gratitude walk below. Thanksgiving, the quiet pause between autumn's dying breath and winter's first howl. It's the one holiday meant for peace, for hearth and family. But where a warmth gathers, so do whispers. Across America, stories are told of spirits that return when the table is set, of dinners that never end, and of strange things seen on a lonely November roads. Here are the legends that linger after the leftovers are gone. 1. The Phantom Turkey of Route 66, Southwest Desert, Arizona to New Mexico. Long-haul truckers swear that every Thanksgiving week, something monstrous crosses the desert highway just past midnight. A turkey the size of a man. Feathers glinting like chrome, eyes burning red in the headlights. Those who swerve to avoid it say it vanishes before impact. Others claim their engines die, and a smell like scorched feathers fills the cab. The old-timers tell it like gospel. During the Great Depression, a starving farmer chased down his only turkey but couldn't bring himself to kill it. The bird disappeared into the desert, and his family starved. Now that turkey walks the highway each year, not as a beast, but as a reminder of hunger and mercy. If you see it, they say something you love will be taken before the next Thanksgiving.
Number 2, the Frozen Family Feast in Duluth, Minnesota in the 1950s. It was supposed to be the perfect Thanksgiving. Roast goose, mashed potatoes, candles flickering against the frost. But when neighbors came to visit the Brenner family the next morning, they found everyone, father, mother, 2 children, and grandmother, frozen solid around the table, plates untouched, smiles still on their faces. The fire was out, the windows sealed tight, the door locked from the inside. The food was perfectly warm. Authorities chalked it up to a furnace malfunction. Locals said otherwise, that the family had prayed for a moment of peace and the universe gave it to them forever. To this day, passers-by claim that each Thanksgiving night, the farmhouse glows softly from within and faint laughter echoes across the snow.
Number 3, the hitchhiker with the pie. Rural Illinois, Highway 17. She appears in the rearview mirror just after sunset, a young woman in a long gray coat, clutching a tin-wrapped pie in her hands. She asks for a ride home for Thanksgiving dinner, voice gentle, eyes pale as the frost. When you drop her off at the next farmhouse, she thanks you. And when you turn to say goodbye, the seat is empty. The pie tin remains, still warm. Locals call her the Pilgrim Girl, the spirit of a woman who froze to death in a snowstorm while walking home with her family's pie after her car broke down in the 1940s. If you take the tin home and eat from it, the legends say you'll never be hungry again, but you'll always feel cold.
Number 4, the turkey that cooked itself. Suburban folklore everywhere and nowhere. The story circulates every few years in chain emails, in half-whispered gossip at grocery stores. A woman buys her Thanksgiving turkey from a discount market. She stuffs it, seasons it, and slides it into the oven. Hours later, the kitchen fills with screams. Smoke pours from the oven. Firefighters arrive to find the bird split open, and inside, something small and blackened, shaped like a tiny skeleton. The market burns down the next day. The woman is never seen again. It's said the turkey was grown on cursed land, fed on strange things that should never have touched the daylight. No one agrees where it happened, but every year someone claims to know a cousin's friend who was there.
5. The Ghost Pilgrim of Provincetown Dunes, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Before Plymouth, before the feast, the Mayflower anchored in Provincetown Bay. One man, history doesn't name him, went ashore to scout the dunes and never returned. Now locals say that on Thanksgiving Eve, when the fog rolls thick across the sand, a lantern glows among the dunes. A lone pilgrim walks the beach, boots sinking in silent, whispering prayers into the wind. If you follow him, the air turns colder, the sea roars louder, and just before he vanishes, you hear the sound of a ship breaking apart, the Mayflower's ghost echoing through time.
Number 6, the Radio Feast broadcast, Chicago, 1970s. Listeners tuning in to AM 1391 Thanksgiving heard a strange program, a live family dinner holiday special. At first, it was normal, clinking silverware, cheerful chatter, the clatter of plates. But as the hour went on, the conversation turned to murmurs. Forks scratched the table. Someone whispered, "We give thanks for the flesh." Then came chewing, wet, slow chewing. A woman laughing too loud. A sound like bones cracking. By the time the station cut to static, dozens of callers had phoned police. But there was no record of any such station ever existing. Each decade since, the broadcast reappears for one night only. If you tune in at midnight, Thanksgiving Eve, they say, you'll hear your own name whispered in the static before the line goes dead.
7. The Pumpkin Pie Pact, New England, early 1900s. Old Widow Garvey was famous for her pumpkin pies. Every Thanksgiving, she baked for the whole village. But one year, a proud man refused her slice. "Too sweet for me," he said. She smiled thinly and whispered, "You'll regret that before the year is out." He died that winter, choking on a bite of bread. Then another neighbor declined her pie, and another accident followed. After she passed, her whole recipe book was found with a note inside. "No one leaves my table hungry." To this day, some New England families won't refuse pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving, just in case the curse still lingers. Perhaps these tales are just that. Stories told when the nights are long and the wind hums through bare branches. But maybe Thanksgiving has always been haunted by memory, by longing, by the ghost of those we wish were still at our table. So if a chair shifts by itself this year, or a light flickers during grace, don't be afraid. Maybe it's only the past pulling up a seat. All right, Paula, that was some freaky legends, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, pretty crazy. And some of them are pretty creepy.
I know. I want you guys to let us know down in the comment section if you know of other Thanksgiving urban legends that we can look into. I definitely want, what was it, Chicago with the cannibalistic? Was it Chicago? That
Yeah, I
legend
think so.
about, let me go back and look here quickly, guys.
The radio
Yeah,
station.
Chicago, the Radio Feast
Oh
broadcast.
my
That was
goodness.
wild. Let me
Yeah.
know, my Chicago people, or my Illinois people, do you know of that legend? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So so let me know. That's funny, Paula. Like, I know that even for Christmas, this is a long lost tradition for the Western world, was actually telling ghost stories in the holiday
Yeah.
season. There's songs that talk about sitting around and telling ghost stories. That's part of the holiday season as well, which makes sense because if we go back to like our all of our collectively, whether you're Australian, Canadian, American, if you're white, of European descent, this goes back to like Saturnalian festivals, all that kind of stuff where they would talk
Mhm.
about the passing of time. That's a big spiritual lesson we learn too with the fall. Like the leaves don't fret. They let the leaves fall. I mean, the trees don't fret. They let the leaves fall. They don't try to hold on to them. That's kind of a symbolic teaching for us as humans to let things go, not to fear losing, because the trees know, they have faith that in the spring new leaves will be formed. And
So
so
true.
it's such a
And it's so
metaphor.
easy to forget that, but that is just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of teachers use that. They go through the trees, they don't try to cling on to the leaves. They let the leaves in their beauty change color and die, and they stay in hibernation for the winter with the faith that new will be born in the spring. And as human
Mhm.
beings, if we could just learn from nature that when things are taken away, not to hold on, let them go through the
Yeah.
period of pause. We'll say winter is like a pause, a great pause, and knowing with faith, new will be grown again. And the leaves do
Hmm.
that. I mean, the trees do that every year. Every year
And
they meet the seasons with faith, the seasons of their life with faith. And if we as humans can just learn to have faith that through the coldness of winter, the death of winter, the circle of life will happen again, and new will be reborn in the spring.
I think that's really important to remember because that's something I've been working on a personal level lately, is just really trying to build that trust and that faith in something higher than myself. And I think it's so easy to just get caught up. And, so many of us are caught up in survival mode at the moment because things are going up and life's just crazy and we're busy and we've got so much going on all the time. But it's just so powerful when you can just breathe and just take the time to relax and looking at nature and remembering that everything goes in rhythms, because I think sometimes we can forget, we can get caught up in a cycle, like especially like I can get caught up in a bit of a negative cycle sometimes, suffering with depression in the past. It's something that kind of I get a little bit scared about because I'm like, oh no, if I'm getting down again, like I don't want to get depressed again. And but just reminding myself now that I have the knowledge that it's normal for us to have a cycle, and we have our ups and we have our downs, we have our great days and we have our days that are a bit more challenging, but just remembering that they will always pass and it will come back again. And I love that analogy of the tree because it's beautiful, and it's just remembering to have that faith and just to let it go, and then it will come back again in the spring.
Yeah, and there's beauty in
Yeah,
letting go. Look at how beautiful it is when the trees allow their leaves to turn red and
so
orange and melt
beautiful.
away. They don't try to hold on. There's beauty in letting go, just to let go. And I think that's something that we all struggle with as human beings, to
Yeah,
understand that there is always, where there's a down, there's an up. Where there's an up, there's a down. There's always mountains and valleys. There's always ebb and flow. And if there weren't ebb and flow, we wouldn't evolve, right? Sometimes
exactly.
the valleys, the down parts, are really the more valuable parts, because that's where we're having to generate that wisdom and that faith into a better tomorrow. And if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have the faith needed to allow the fresh buds of spring to
Mhm.
to come, and the flowers
Yeah.
to bloom again. The sun will rise again, and it will set again, and it will rise again, and it will set again. And I don't know, Paula, maybe that's just a human condition since the beginning of time. Maybe it's because our world is so much different now than like the pilgrims world or the colonist world where life was harder for them. And
Mhm.
a lot of they kind of had patience, I think. I think collectively across the world, if we look back a couple hundred years, I think they had patience because they had to. Whereas
Yeah, 100%.
we get things so
I
quickly
think,
now that
yeah, and I don't think that's actually to our favor. Like even getting a mail, like getting letters and things, it would take weeks.
yeah,
Like say that, people were courting, for example, like they would have to wait weeks or months to receive a letter from their loved person.
yeah,
Whereas these days, you send a text in 2 seconds.
yeah.
And I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing because it's not really teaching us a whole lot of, stamina and strength and growth and having faith and things like that.
And mindfulness. I just watched a comedian talk about this. Like
Mhm.
in the 1900s, there mindfulness wasn't a word because you were mindful for half your day because
Yeah.
you didn't have a cell phone to distract you. You had to just sit there and like think about things, read a ketchup bottle at the restaurant because there was nothing to distract you. And so, and I think there was a when things come so easily, we forget. And I'm speaking specifically again to the Americans, like when the colonists came here to an uninhabited land, or I mean, was habited, but they had to like, that's a story for a different day. They were leaving, that's one thing as an American, I love studying like European history, especially leading up to 1492, because for most of our ancestors as Americans and some for Australians as well, like what was the straw that broke the camel's back? Like for them, I don't think we understand how much of a ask that was for them to get on a boat, to leave everything they've ever known behind. They're not coming back again. Most of them could not afford to come back. I think when the settlement first started, it was like 3 months they were on a boat. Yeah, I can be in London in 5 hours on an airplane from Atlanta.
Yeah.
They took
Yeah.
3 months.
It's the same for Australia.
Like
Yeah.
they
I
came
mean, it
here
would have been terrifying.
terrifying. A different climate. They had to learn how to
Yeah.
till a different land. For a lot of my, the East Coast was the 13 colonies, so they were English. But a lot of like French people who were Protestant came there, Germans. They didn't speak English, but they came to these colonies because of the religious aspect of not being persecuted. It's been terrifying to not speak the language and be in a land that you're not familiar with and customs you're not familiar with. But to know that you were doing it for a greater purpose, that the sun was gonna, and the sun might not rise on your lifetime. It might be for your descendants, but to do it
Mm,
anyway. And like
yeah.
I think about that a lot. Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back in Europe for like my ancestors or your ancestors to be like, okay, we have to get out of here. What was that?
Well, just to share a little story, in Paula's ancestry, my dad's done a lot of the family tree because he's very interested in it, and I find it really fascinating too. And we do have an ancestor that apparently he was working for like a doctor or something or a medical kind of thing. I think he was like the clerk or something like that, and he left the window open one night so that a friend of his could come in and burgle the place, and they got caught and they got shipped on a boat and they ended up in Australia. So
That,
here
well,
we are.
Georgia. So Georgia, where I live now, was named after King George. It was a penal colony, and once we won our independence, that's when Australia became the penal colony because they couldn't
Yeah.
ship to America anymore because we
They just
were.
put all the convicts to Australia and
That was Georgia. That was the I don't have any heritage from Georgia from that long ago, but that was the colony of Georgia was a penal colony.
wow.
That so we were like the Australia before Australia. Then once we run our independence, they couldn't do that anymore. So they
Yeah.
sent it to sent felons. Some of them just couldn't pay their taxes. They weren't really
Well,
hard
like
criminals.
I don't think my family member was a particularly bad guy. I just think he just didn't have much money and he
Yeah.
was just like, well, this is an opportunity. Let's just kind of take it, and didn't really go very well. So yeah.
It's yeah, a lot of the felons were not like they weren't murderers. They were like just people that were hard out on their luck.
Trying to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we think about that, and that's what Thanksgiving is for, is to reflect on that. Like I know, so I have a German line, and the only reason why I know about this particular German line is because my mom's mom, her first cousin was a man named Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond is still to this day the longest running senator in the United States from South Carolina. A very famous politician, for better or for worse. Strom was my grandmother's maiden name. She was Maxine Strom. That's like my name is my mother's maiden name. It's a big thing to do in the South. I actually have a cousin who's also named Strom, is to give maiden name. So it was what her father's sister's son was Strom Thurmond. And the only reason why we know about the Stroms is because of his fame, is because people wrote books about it. Because that line of the Stroms, they were the Vunstroms, that Vunstrum. Now it's Strom. It's changed in spelling
Yeah.
over time. But if you guys remember, we did a whole breakdown on the Pesor family, and we talked about the Palatine
Yeah.
region with the Germans and the French. It was sometimes French, sometimes German. That was where they were from. And so
Right.
around the same time that the Edict of Nantes was revoked by Louis XIV, his ancestor Henri IV had created the edict saying that all religions, peace basically, we need to have peace with religions. And then Louis XIV revoked it. A lot of the Lutherans, who were both French and German, kind of weird,
Mhm.
left at that point. And that's when the Stroms left because they were Lutheran. And they were very poor. They were not aristocrats. They were very much peasantry class. It took them a very long time to get to what was Charlestown, South Carolina. Now it's Charleston, which was a Protestant colony owned by England. They used to have a wall around the city so Catholics couldn't come in. So they picked to go there for safety. When they got to Charlestown, they didn't speak a lick of English. Ne'er a lick of English. They only spoke German and French. And
Right.
they were not counted in the first census because they didn't speak English. But they helped
Wow.
build the city of what is now Charleston, South Carolina, where my mother is actually from. And their ancestor or their descendant became one of the longest running senators, Strom Thurmond. And that's the only reason why we have that. We have a book about it, because otherwise their story would have been lost in history. But it was because Strom Thurmond was so famous, people researched his lineage. And there
Right.
is a plaque somewhere in Charleston. I've tried to find it to the Stroms, to
Mhm.
honor the fact that they actually helped build the city, but were never given credit because they couldn't speak English. But I think about that a lot. Like they went from northern Germany to Charleston, South Carolina, that had malaria. It was swampy. It had yellow fever. The
Wow.
weather was so different. And they
Yeah.
came, they didn't speak a lick of English. They were poor. Life was probably incredibly challenging for them. But they made
Yeah.
that decision because of religious persecution to try. And because of that, I'm here today, right? Like I'm here, and I think about that a lot. It's about the Canadians, the Australians. Like if someone didn't rob somebody when he did, or someone didn't get on the boat when they did, we wouldn't be here, because of the hodgepodge of DNA that we now have within our pumping through our veins. But kind of circling back to what we were saying, like, especially for our ancestors that lived in that time, they didn't get instant gratification.
No.
They had to work their asses off to establish, ooh, bless you,
Sorry.
to establish any type of a life. And for a lot of them,
Yeah.
it wasn't for them, it was for me, it was for you, it was for their descendants. And so I often think, I wonder what they're thinking now, knowing that they were the peasantry class that weren't even counted as human beings when they first got here because they didn't speak English. To have a descendant, a direct descendant, who ended up being one of the longest running senators in the United
Yeah.
States government that the United States has ever had. Like that's incredible. Like they weren't expecting that. They were just looking for a peaceful life. They were just looking to be, but imagine if they were spoiled brats like today that have instant, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have taken that gamble. And so we have to have
Exactly.
faith that things are going to be hard, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be fun, and doesn't mean that something good isn't going to come from them. And so
Yeah, that's not going to be rewarding.
yeah, and
Yeah, and I
that's
think
Thanksgiving.
that's part of the problem. I mean, I love that. If you remember that little reel that Catherine sent us about, and it said about like, the teenagers complaining about their homework and stuff that they've got to do, 16, 17-year-olds. It's like, well, 100 years ago, 16, 17-year-olds were like getting married. They were running the farm. They were like,
Going off
they
to
had,
war.
yeah, after war, they had so much going on, so much on their plate. And it's like, I know that it's tough for kids as well today with social media and peer pressure, and I'm not demeaning that at all, but it's just incredible how easy our life has become
Hmm.
in so many ways. And but it's also completely taken us away from nature and the natural rhythms of life.
Imagine.
Whereas, yeah, when people were working the farm, you were rising with the sun and going to sleep with the sun. You were, working with the seasons and working with the animals and all of that kind of thing. It's just, yeah, these days it's such a different world we live in, isn't it?
Different. Well, you didn't go buy a house, you built a house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you built that. You tilled the land. You didn't just go get milk from the refrigerator. You milked the cow. You know,
Yeah.
and that's why the South again, that's why the food in the house in the South is very hearty because they were up at, like you said, rising with the sun, working the
Mhm.
land. That's why you had so many kids, is because they worked the land, they tilled the land. They were burning so many calories that they had to have hearty food to
Yeah.
sustain
Nourishing
life.
foods.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and look, I mean, we are the hopes and dreams of all of our ancestors. They did that so that their descendants would have. I mean, even think about the American Revolution. It's like a broken record with me, but I think a lot about my two ancestors. They were like 17. One was 17 and one was 18. They picked up arms to go against the greatest military that had ever existed. They were walking into certain death, but that was
Wow.
worth it to them to at least try that small glimmer of hope. Not for them, because after the American Revolution was won, it took a while for them to figure out the Constitution. They had Articles of the Confederation first. Then we got attacked again in 1812 by England again, because England was like, give us back our produce. Like, we want you back. And we defied a second American Revolution. That's where the Declaration of Independence, the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, comes from. So they didn't have a lot of peace and they went straight into the Civil War. So they were doing all of this for us, for their descendants to live in peace. And that's why I find this fight right now that we're in with all of our governments to be so personal, especially for me, because it's like
Hmm.
my ancestors have done this before. Like,
Yeah.
you're messing with the wrong people. Like, this, the same blood that ran through them runs through me, and they did it without any really a lot of hope that they were going to, and they just happened to win, you know. And so I think that we have to sit coming up to Thanksgiving again. That's the part of Thanksgiving, is reflecting on that, wherever you are in the world, reflecting on what your ancestors did to make you who you are today, to give you the life you are today. That's why it's so important that we don't give up our freedoms, that we don't give up, because people have fought long and hard so that we can be where we are, and we need to make sure that is secured for the next generation.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're thankful for, and we're grateful for the sweat, blood, and tears that our ancestors put into wherever you are in the world. You know, it's not the government that builds the country; it's the people that build the
No.
country.
It's our families, our ancestors. Yeah.
It's the culture. The government doesn't create the culture; the people do, right? And
Yeah.
so it's that's something to recognize, that you are in the fabric of whatever nation you're from. You were part of that fabric of that nation. And even if your parents are immigrants or grandparents from another country, like Australians and Americans, we also have
Yeah.
heritage in Europe. Our ancestors,
Yeah.
the fabric of their culture as well. That's why European history is so important to Americans, because it's personal to us as well. As I was saying,
Yeah,
for white
absolutely.
Americans, it's very you know, wars of religions, the Tudor dynasty, all the everything, the Protestant Reformation. It's very personal to white Americans, because that's what drove our ancestors to leave. And that
Hmm.
was, and I just don't think we recognize like what a big deal that was, like how much of a big deal that was to leave your home and never come back,
Oh, yeah.
never come back. And so we give gratitude to our ancestors for making that hard decision and for risking their lives so that we could be where we are now. And that's what Thanksgiving is about. It's about being so, if you're from another country and you like this idea of Thanksgiving, why not have your own Thanksgiving? Like, why not pick a day in your family
Yeah.
where you cook a big meal for your family and you all sit around and talk about your family
What
heritage and
and
what your
what you're
ancestors
thankful
did.
for.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And what you can do now to ensure that your descendants are in a good place.
Yeah, and have a positive future to look forward to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that if you guys want to do in other countries, just do your own things. It was the people that created Thanksgiving. The government only made it a national holiday because the people were already doing it. Right.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
you're like, I guess we got to give them a holiday. So anyway, well, Paula, I know you have to go pick your daughter up, but this has been so fun, you guys. Let us know down in the comment section below if you know of any other Thanksgiving urban legends, or if there's any other famous. I want to know, because old school part of Christmas culture was ghost stories too. So I think, Paula, for all you guys that are from other countries or other parts of the United States, let us know some Christmas ghost stories from your area of the woods. You can just put the title in the comment section. I'll go look it up, and maybe we can cover it over the Christmas season too.
I think that would be a great idea.
All right, you guys. Well, let me know how you like the casserole. And as always, if you want to participate in the community cookbook for Esoteric Atlanta, email me at esotericatlanta@gmail.com. Put recipe in the subject line with your recipe and an antidote or story from your family where you're from. And I will collect that for a community cookbook for December for everybody to have each other's recipes. All right.
Awesome. Well, I love chatting to you. This was a great, very fascinating chat. It was great. I loved it.
Me too. Me too, you guys. Also, make sure you subscribe to Fusion Body Studio on YouTube. That will be down in the description boxes as well. And I guess until next time, Paula, don't be listening to any cannibalistic radio programs, y'all.
Oh my God. That scared me. That really scared me. Oh my God. I would not be listening to any radio stations. Oh my God.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.